Sis, welcome to our healing table. Sitting still brings you to the present moment. It brings you to awareness. It brings you to mindfulness. And you're able to check in with yourself. We're always going through things. We're always facing outside forces. We're also always facing internal forces. So it's like, and we're also always facing spiritual forces, things that we don't even see. Like, how do we tap into ourselves so that we're equipped and strengthened? Stillness.
Stillness in our meditation. I think, like, for me, too, when you said the time, people say, oh, I don't have time. It took us, 3 to 5 minutes? You have time.
1 to 2
if
minutes.
You don't have
all you need.
If you don't have 1 to 5 minutes for yourself a day, your life is too busy.
Too busy. Today we're doing episode 6.
Episode 6.
Sitting in stillness.
Sitting in stillness.
So necessary to talk about.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot on episode 5, just how being to self and surrendering. And so I'm so excited to talk about what stillness looks like and how it can look like and how to shape it and how to be in it. Because stillness can feel uncomfortable as well, but it's definitely a space that you have to embrace and learn to be in.
Just be.
Yeah.
Be still.
Yeah.
All right, what tea we starting with today? Y'all know we start every episode with our tea.
Okay, so today we are starting with self-heal. Okay, cannot wait to lift up this plant. Self-heal is really a powerhouse. I can't wait to share how I connected with this plant and how I discovered it, as well as Taryn. Healing is important. Knowing how to heal is important. And so with that, self-heal is a transformative tea. Self-heal speaks for itself. It literally helps you heal thyself in so many different ways. And so I can't wait for us to talk about that today. So cheers to episode 6, and we are exploring self-heal. And it's delicious. It is delicious, very soft, very gentle.
I was looking up how did self-heal get its name, because I mean it's self-explanatory, but and even the explanation is self-explanatory.
Self-heal is good for everything. Self-heal is good for everything.
Heal all. They also call it heal all.
Heal all plant. Self-heal, heal all.
But they said through traditional use, people, our ancestors, people throughout the years, it was healing everything, so it was like heal all, self-heal.
It's good for everything. Yeah. You want to start with then talking about it?
Sure. Yeah, I'll talk about it just a little bit. I know we was looking at the Materia Medica, but then we also have so I like to pull cards here or there, and I'll have like it's called the Herbiary. Herbiary. I like this because it has a different variety of herbs in there, and I like to just pull it to see like what herb should I be using. So a part of sitting in stillness is really asking questions to the Most High, to the divine power, just trying to figure out where do you need to go on the path next, what could you be using to help you figure out what you should be doing next. So I like to ask, what herb should I be working with, or what plant should I be working with for my time and season. And I typically will do this like every week or every other week.
And we just did it before we start filming. So
and what'd you pick?
I ended up picking holy basil, which holy basil is right on time. Holy basil is something that I had even planned to talk about today. And so holy basil is that girl.
She really is. I love
the sweetness, the smell of it, just the way it shows up. It's kind of like, it reminds me of self-heal a lot, just how it shows up in the body and help you with the different imbalances.
Supportive. And then I picked apple. So the apple tree actually comes from the rose family. And there's a lot of the plants in the rose family all have medicinal properties. But the one that I picked, of course, was apple, and it just talked about wisdom and self-knowledge, which I feel like that's life for me. It's just, I'm always seeking knowledge. I'm always gaining understanding, and then I'm always actualizing wisdom in my life. So knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, just very 3 core themes in my life.
Yeah. And it's right on time. And I think like for people that are unsure about when Taryn talked about she's pulling card, if you ever had a reading done or anything like that, it's essentially the same thing, just with the herbal deck.
Yes.
Just for the clarity for people, they're like, what do you mean what that is? And so,
Y'all don't be demonizing the fact that I pull cards. I know that even just growing up, like just even me growing up Christian, like that pulling cards was demonized, but I found that is truly like one of my practices that I do that I feel like helps as a tool for guidance. Just as far as like asking how, and I also do like a chakra card too. I have a chakra card. I have a oracle medicine mama card. So that's very like, as a woman, I've pulled a card that told me, I think I've mentioned it in the episode where it told me I need to work on sisterhood. So I feel like it's just different like themes and elements that I can work on. And I feel like the cards, y'all always hear the saying, if it's in the cards or something like that. Like people have done that throughout the years. That's an ancient wisdom, ancient tool. Even in the Bible, they was out there casting lots. It was different things like that. So we've always used like different tools of divination. And I feel like it's in the word divination, like divining. We're just working with like the divine spirit to figure out our divine paths.
And it shows up in so many different ways. Like where some people pull cards, I am a numbers person. I get my communication through numbers, and so I'm always looking to see how the numbers are communicating with me. So the communication looks differently for everybody, and I think that's something that's also important to know, right? So if the pulling cards or numbers not your thing, you may always get a sign by from an animal or a dream. Like it comes. The universe is always communicating, and it communicates best when we are
sitting in stillness.
Sitting in stillness.
And that's why we had to talk about it, because we got to listen to the messages. Really quick, I'm going to just read about Self-Heal. Her botanical name, Self-Heal definitely gives girly, okay? Her botanical name is Prunella vulgaris. Let me see. Pretty Prunella. My teacher used to murmur to this tiny flower with fuzzy leaves and a snapdragon face. And Prunella, I'm calling her Prunella now, but she really does look nice and majestic. And
it is.
You'll be like, what is this?
Beautiful.
Yes, with the little ripples.
A beautiful rippled flower. You will see it in a different of the purples. And this
purple is beautiful.
It is beautiful. When you see it, it stands out in nature. And the beauty of it is with Self-Heal, like if you just allow your grass to grow just a little bit, it peeks through and you start to see this beautiful hue of purpleness throughout your grass. Yeah.
It's definitely a joy to find it when you come across it. I don't know like where it always grows. I found it like on a back road by my house, just growing on the sides, and I went back looking for it and found like a nice little patch, but I missed the season this year. I thought I had time to come back, but Self-Heal was like, no ma'am, you don't, you didn't have no time. Let me see. Prunella or Self-Heal is a wee thing, small in the way of butterflies, whose flapping wings can steer a hurricane half a world away. Like a pebble dropped in a pond, Self-Heal ripples outward, allowing healing to begin. She reminds you that one properly placed shift, no matter how small, creates concentric circles of effect, each amplifying change. Self-Heal knows how to find the center from which all else flows. Ripple out from here, she whispers, as she helps you discover the secret of your own true healing. If Self-Heal appears for you, it's time to drop your pebble in the pool. And I just want to share this reflection right quick. It said, it says, what energy do you radiate? Each of us is a pebble dropped into the pond of our family, friends, community, and world. Looking beyond your everyday work in the world, ask yourself, what ripples emanate from the pebble that is you? What is your soul's purpose here? What do you dream of becoming? What energy do you radiate as you walk through this life? What energy would you like to radiate? And then a little quote says, do your little bit of good where you are. It's those little bits of good put together that overwhelm the world. And I think that is so deep. These questions right here are really core to ask ourselves, and I think that that's a part of healing, because that's how growth happens. It's like, well, what do I want to see from myself?
Look at the depths of yourself. Yeah.
The depths. Explore the depths of you.
Yeah. And that's how Self-Heal shows up. And so Self-Heal is, and I'm going to talk about it from its healing abilities, right? Self-Heal is a deep cleansing herb. I came across Self-Heal initially when I was in Tennessee. I lived there many years ago, and I fell in love with it. I identify Self-Heal as one through research, and y'all can look this up, okay? Self-heal is such a deep cleansing herb that it could help assist with mutated DNA. And that's why I said this book talks about how it speaks to the depths of things, and it really does. Think about a plant being able to assist with mutated DNA. You know how deeply embedded DNA is?
Embedded.
So it is powerful within that way. It is also an astringent herb. So typically you will see, if you do your research on it, you'll see a lot of people use it for its astringent properties. I have personally used it to assist people with herpes, simplex 1 and 2. And so within that, it is a powerhouse. It is that deeply cleansing. And it goes back to that idea, like everything that we need is already growing around us if we learn to tap into it. So it's great for wound healing. It is great for herpes. It is great for cleansing the body. It is great for liver stagnation.
The nervous system.
Yeah, it is the nervous system. And it's great for liver stagnation. Why is this important? Because disease manifests through excess stagnation and deficiency. And so where there's stagnation, that means that something is not flowing properly. When you understand the role of the liver, you will understand why, if it's not flowing properly, how that will show up in disease, right? And so it is just a powerhouse for all of the things. And like I said, self-heal, also known as Heal All, is a powerhouse when it comes to health and it comes to healing. I think that more people should know about it within that way, because it could be used for everything. Yeah.
And I think it's important, just even with, we chose it for this episode when we talk about sitting in stillness, because like how we're drinking a cup of tea with it right now. So just, I feel like, and we'll get into it a little bit more, but just when we take those times to sit with ourselves, sometimes even having like a cup of tea can help you to ground and feel nourishing, even if you drink the cup of tea before you actually sit down with yourself, or if you have it during that time where you're sitting. But self-heal, even on that emotional level, just helps you to tap in and, like they said, center yourself. And that's what you need, because a lot of times we're dealing with imbalance and being spiritually imbalanced sometimes, or mentally imbalanced, and self-heal can just help you to find your center. So it's not doing the work for you, more so supporting you and helping to guide you towards your healing.
That harmony and that balance.
And that balance that you need.
Yeah.
A couple of other herbs. What are a couple of other herbs that you use?
So for me, in the space of stillness, I really love holy basil. I know for me personally, because I know myself, that the places where I struggle is always on a mental level. And so with me knowing that I struggle with the mental imbalance of things, I always like to use adaptogens. Adaptogens are going to be herbs that essentially bring harmony where there's imbalance within the body, okay? And what I love about an adaptogen, it goes in and searches the body for the imbalance and bring it back to harmony. And that speaks to the power of the plants within that way. And so for me, I really love holy basil. Holy basil is everything for me. It is something that I keep on my nightstand. I also like working with California poppy. It has become a great plant ally of mine.
Some of that. You always talk about
California poppy is everything. A lot of people use it even when they are, it's so deeply embedded in such a powerful herb that even when people are coming up off of the opioid addictions, they'll use California poppy to help them sustain and to also make them feel the ways that the opioids was. And so that California poppy and holy basil are two plants that I really stand by. When I'm also sitting in stillness and in solitude, I find myself working on the root cause of things. And so like now on the fast, some things that I'm working on are herbs that supports either that root chakra or getting to the root cause of imbalance. And so for me, I struggle a lot with emotional eating. So when I'm in a space of stillness, I like to first focus on cleansing. And so I like definitely using Cascara Sagrada as far as my gut health. I like using burdock root for my blood, and it helps me to deeply cleanse my body within that way, and focusing on that root cause of a thing. So when you sit in stillness, it calls you to deeply reflect. And with deeply reflect, it also allows me to see the toxins and the ways that I have ate, because I was an emotional eater. And so because of that, when I'm sitting in stillness, I really like to sit with the dandelions. I like to sit with my bitter herbs. Bitter herbs are going to help with that stimulation. And so for me, I think that it's important for you to identify where you are in stillness to know what supports you. If you're grieving in a space of stillness, you may need to focus on the lungs or focus on the heart health. And so you got to be real with yourself in stillness to know where you are, to know what you need to show up with you in that space.
And then you look at, if you drink like loose leaf herb teas, you look at what you have around you and probably what you've already been drinking. Because I started to realize, for me, like a tea blend that I've been drinking a lot, and I love it, is rose, cacao, and then also Damiana. But I put rose and cacao as my 2 herbs that I've been working with as well, on top of self-heal for me sitting in stillness. Because like I said last episode, I've been doing some heart work and really like opening up my heart. So I just realized like rose has just been around me, helping me in so many ways, as far as me drinking the rose tea, using rose hip oil in my serums, smelling. My favorite scent right now is rose, and I feel like it's also it's helping me to tap into like my softness and my femininity. Again, I mentioned Quentin was saying how I be mean and all this type of stuff. So I feel like when I put on my rose, like I have on rose perfume right now, I wear rose every day, and I feel like that is just a scent that I identify with now, because it makes me feel soft, it makes me feel vulnerable, it makes me feel trusting, it makes me feel open, and those are the things that I like wanted to tap into, and that's my medicine that I needed for me. Like I was dealing with all these defenses that I had up, and Rose is also, mind you though, don't play with Rose, because she has her thorns. Okay, she's soft, but she got her thorns.
Yes, and she protects herself.
So it's that balance, and Rose helps with hormonal imbalance and internal balance, helps with self-confidence, emotions. So Rose is my girly that I like to use. And then cacao, I've been exploring so much. I just recently got some cacao from this chocolate place in Atlanta, and they said cacao helps with like the bliss molecule. Like cacao be having me feel so chill, like all is well. That's how I be feeling with cacao. And I feel like when you're sitting in stillness, even because painful things will come up for you in a lot of cases, I think like having those things that make you feel good, those herbs that make you feel like they kind of help be your armor, like help you to deal with those things that come up and to be able to flow and move forward. And then I also wanted to mention some essential oils that I like to use. Frankincense is really, really good when sitting in stillness, because it just helps to ground. You had mentioned the root chakra, and really in sitting in stillness, a lot of times you really are aligning all of your chakras, aligning all of these different layers of you, but starting there with that root where we hold a lot of emotional grief, and then eventually coming in here into the sacral part, and then you got your heart, and you got your throat where you speak from, and you got your third eye, you got your crown. So everything aligns up, and we always need work on all of them, but there are some that need more attention than others as well.
And I think that too speaks to, like, even with you sharing, within our stillness, we all will find ourselves in different places, and the herbs are going to show up for whoever, whenever, however. And you can use the plants through aromatherapy. You can use them through teas like we're having now, tinctures. You can get out in nature. Getting more in tune with what was already here helps you so deeply on your healing journey. And so
you can use it in many different ways, like you said, food, skincare, inhaling, out eating the food, like everything. It's every different way that you can use it and work with it. So believe it or not, that was still like our beginning.
Yeah, right. We talking.
Got into the
but
depth.
Educating, because we do want people to leave here knowing.
Yes, herbs are here to help you. Yeah. They are here to help support you no matter what you're going through. There's an herb for that.
Everything. With that, we are going to change it up a little bit this episode. We're going to actually lift up our affirmation in the beginning and the ending of it, and just so that we can also talk more in depth in it. And so that is a slight change we're doing this episode. So our affirmation
let's do our affirmation, and then after that go into three cleansing breaths, because I love some and we are
backwards. That's me jumping ahead. Okay,
I like the affirmation first, then the breath work though. So I feel like we say it and then we sit with it with those breaths. So I like that.
All right. So our affirmation for episode 6 is: I am safe to be still. I am safe to listen.
See, that's why we did in the beginning, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Okay. So within being safe to be still,
safe to be still,
remind yourself that you're safe in stillness. Oftentimes, even for myself, I have ran out of being uncomfortable. I ran in stillness for feeling lonely versus identifying what these emotions and these things may be telling me. Everything that comes to you may not necessarily be yours, so know what to release. But knowing that you're safe in stillness, and stillness is necessary for where it is that you desire to go. So don't run in stillness. Remind yourself that you're safe. I oftentimes tell myself, Shamika, you're safe. It's okay. It's all going to work out, right? So in stillness, if you feel yourself being tense, knowing that it's okay to release that because you are safe. And then also knowing that it is safe to listen. And when I say listen, I say listen to that small voice, right? And then also filter what you are listening to externally is going to be key. For me, within the space of listening, I'm listening to music that feeds me. I'm listening to people that lift me. I'm listening to my inner voice, and sometimes that can get a little jaded depending on what it is that you're listening to. And so, what's the AJ McQueen song?
Sit yourself
Sit you down and talk to God. That right now, my season of stillness, that is my go-to song every day when I rise.
I need to find that part that Londrell said, but he said something about feeling, and that's how you heal.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you have to sit in that stillness, and that's why it's the affirmation says, I am safe to be still. It starts with self. You have to trust yourself. Yourself has to be your own safe space as well. You are the medicine. You are the altar. You are the ritual. You are the peace. And then we're also that balance of light and dark. So to reach that place of light, you do have to kind of visit those places of darkness, and you can't be afraid to sit with yourself. I don't know if a lot of people been hearing about people taking shrooms and ayahuasca and all these different plants that are showing you different parts of yourself, but at the end of the day, it's not something that you always sit and do with somebody else. Yes, you could have a shaman to be there to show you the way and stuff, but the shaman administers the medicine, and then you have to still go and sit with yourself and do what comes up for you internally. So that's why you have to feel safe first and foremost with yourself. We're always looking for something outside of ourselves, but everything that we need and everything that we're looking for is within first and foremost. So that's why it's safe to be still. It's safe to listen to God. It's safe to listen to the higher power. It's safe to listen to the divine. That is how you don't deal with so much confusion. That's how you find organization and guidance in your path. So it's safe to do that. You have to trust yourself to do that first so that you can reap the benefits of it. So that's what I got from there.
That's a whole word.
A whole word. So yes, let's do our moment of breath where we do 3 slow collective breaths together. Right now, I just want us to just take this time, and y'all are here at this table with us. So if we just take the time to just sit for a minute, don't even think about doing a cleansing breath yet. Just notice your normal breath and notice how you feel. Do a body scan. Start from the top of your head and take it down into your eyes and your ears, down to your shoulders. If you notice any tenseness in your jaws and your neck and your shoulders, release that. Right now, be present in the moment. Center yourself. Ground yourself. You can close your eyes or leave them open lightly. And as we feel, you can put your hands on the top of your knees, and you can put them facing down if you want to ground. If you feel that you want to be in the space of receiving, you can place your palms up, facing towards the ceiling. But as we sit here, we acknowledge the present moment, the peace that we feel, and we know that all is well. And this is the stillness. On our next inhale, let's just slowly and deeply breathe in through your nose. At the top, just hold 1 second. And exhale slowly through your mouth. Hold at the bottom, 1 second. Inhale slowly through your nose. Pause at the top, 1 second. Exhale through your mouth. Pause. Inhale through your nose for the last breath. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Return to your normal breath and just sit with this feeling for a second. How this feels. Notice how you feel. Notice if you feel tense or if you feel lighter than when you started taking those breaths. And let's bring our hands to our chest, prayer position. And let's just give thanks for the ability to be able to be still, for the ability to be present. And when you feel ready, we can open our eyes and come back. It's so wild how that just changed the game.
Everything. Ooh. I think that with the tea settling in, the aromatherapy in the room, I needed that.
Like every time I take a deep breath and breathe, like it's that simple.
Yeah, I needed that. Ooh.
It be that simple. Sitting in stillness is medicine. And I think like we're here on this podcast yapping it up and talking it up, but like the beauty about stillness is that you don't even really have to speak. I think sometimes we're afraid to be in stillness because of the things that might come up, or we might not know what to say. We might not know how to pray, but it's like, just sit.
Yeah.
Just sit. Breathe.
And relax.
Relax.
We don't even get to do that often. Most people don't do that until they're in a deep sleep. Most people don't know what that stillness feel like. Our lives are so cluttered and so chaotic and so busy. We don't know what it is to sit and be. And two, I even think for myself when it comes to being in stillness, at times I felt lazy. I felt like I wasn't doing enough.
Like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah,
I need to be doing something.
You're supposed to be sitting. Yeah, sit down. Do nothing.
That's why I love a retreat. But again, it don't always have to be a retreat. It's just having that like sacred space, that quiet space. Nature is always there for you. If your house is loud all the time and you can't get away and it's quiet, like go out into nature, or just find you, like I said, you even got your sisters that say they got their prayer rooms and they sacred spaces. Like just have those spaces where you're able to just shut the world out sometime, and really that's that balancing, like what is coming up for you in that time. And that's how you're able to like figure out what you need for yourself. What is feeling tense? Are my shoulders feeling tense? Like, okay. I think we also talked about like how I pulled my card today and it was talking about the apple and self-awareness. So it was telling me like even in eating an apple, like pay attention to the sensations of an apple. Honestly,
the
like
textures.
Yes, the textures, practicing mindfulness and awareness, like sitting still brings you to the present moment. It brings you to awareness. It brings you to mindfulness, and you're able to check in with yourself. You're able to check in with yourself. And that's why, honestly, one of the best times to sit in stillness is in the morning, as soon as you rise, when the nighttime is turning into the day. And also another good time, if you have the time, is in the evening when the sun is going down. So those times of transformation, when the world seems to be quiet, and then you could get quiet within your world. But it's just a good way for you to check in with yourself. And it's honestly important for us to make time to do this daily, honestly. But if you don't do it daily, at least do it like several times out of the week, however often that you can. So because we're always going through things, we're always facing outside forces, we're also always facing internal forces. So it's like, and we're also always facing spiritual forces, things that we don't even see. Like, how do we tap into ourselves so that we're equipped and
that's how you
strengthened?
tap in. Stillness in that meditation. I think like for me too, when you said the time, people say, oh, I don't have time. It took us what, 3 to 5 minutes? You have time.
1 to 2
if
minutes.
You don't have
all you need.
1 to 2, if you don't have 1 to 5 minutes for yourself a day, your life is too busy.
Too busy.
You need to be in stillness. Spend time setting. Even after stillness, I like to come out of it and set intentions for my day. Yeah. I also like to reflect on my day before I go to bed. Like, instead of being on my phone scrolling or communicating or watching TV, like, there are so many ways that we can implement stillness, and you can do it several times a day to even be, more intentional, or set an alarm on your phone to say, okay, at 5 o'clock every day, I'm going to do me some breath work, or I'm going to just sit in stillness and reflect, and make that a ritual.
Make that a ritual.
And ritualize everything
every day.
else.
It's a practice. It's something that you have to show up and do every day. Like you said, you could take 1 to 2 minutes. I know a lot of people say that even when they get up in the morning, they pray. And I feel like truly one of the best times to do it is in the morning, because it sets the tone for your day. And it eases your nervous system. A lot of us go into and we've probably heard this a lot of times before, but a lot of times we get up and get on our phones and start to flood our minds with what social media had going on, or thinking about what happened yesterday, or thinking about what you got to do for the day. But it's why not take that moment to be here? One of my favorite songs by Beautiful Chorus is called Be Here Now. And I think it was actually taking that time to focus on self and to be aware, because then it helps you to be able to be aware in different parts throughout the day. So times where you might be feeling overly overwhelmed or very angry, or different emotions. Last episode we talked about navigating different pains, but also we have to work on navigating our emotions. A lot of people lack emotional intelligence and lack emotional control. And that's something that we got to get together.
It can lead you very far.
It can lead you very far to destruction, or to divinate, to the ultimate divine, either or. So it's just really just taking that time. And I think I was explaining, I feel I don't know if I was talking about yoga in my last episode or either this episode, but when I went to get my yoga certification from my mentor, I was going to a yoga studio, and I asked them, do they do yoga instructor training? And they didn't at the time. They do it now. But she told me, she recommended me to go to who is now my mentor. And she's an older woman, and she said you should go to her because she's going to come to yoga from the side of meditation. And I learned from her about pranayama, about breath work and meditation, and also, like you said, the way that you eat is important as well, things that we're consuming through our mind, and then also what we're taking in our bodies, and then we're regurgitating it as well. So it's taking that in, sitting with that. I like to read books when I'm around. I got my bookshelf right there. But one of the greatest things that you could do is really just be. And it's not even, there's no science to it. I'm sure scientists can explain it, but there's no science to it. It's literally sitting down. And a lot of people are afraid to sit down and be with themselves. We can't be afraid of that. And I guess, like you said, I think that fear comes in because of it being uncomfortable, for one, and then the chatter. If you're dealing with the fear that might come up, your fears, your insecurities, your guilt, your shames, your doubts, you don't want to focus on that, but you have to
focus on yourself in that moment. A lot of people struggle with that.
Yes, a lot of people struggle with it. A lot of people run from it. And when you sit in stillness, it's there's no running. It's just it's just being there. And there's power in it. There's beauty in it. And it feels medicinal. When you take that time, it feels again, you're able to navigate and cope with whatever is going to go on throughout the day. Now, you might find sometimes that something might come up. I know one time for me, even here at the warehouse, one time I was feeling so overwhelmed, and I was about to create a product, and I was feeling extremely overwhelmed, and I was feeling so frustrated. I could feel the tension, physically, feeling just so tense because I had to do this and I got to do that, and my mind is just on go. And I'm in the middle of the warehouse, so even in a busy spot, you can stop and be in stillness. I was in a busy warehouse, and I stopped. I don't know if anybody was looking at me crazy. I ain't even care. I just stopped. And I took 2 breaths. And guess what? After that, I was able to go handle what I had to do. And I was in a much better mood. And not only that, I was making product. We have to be mindful, especially of the things the energy that we're giving out. It talked about that. What kind of energy are you radiating? Because your nervous system is so wrecked and so stressed that you might be radiating that kind of energy. Or are you radiating peaceful energy? How people be like, girl, you looking peaceful. I see it on you.
Yeah.
You wear peace well.
That's that energy.
That's that energy. And when you're creating products, a lot of us should always be in the space where we're creating anyways.
From a
like
very
just
peaceful,
very
intentional,
peaceful,
loving
putting good energy out into the world. I was reading the book Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza, and he was talking about experiencing elevated emotions every day. So when you sit in that stillness, then you're able to experience peace first and foremost. Like peace. I know we say peace a lot, but like peace is
what it feels like.
it feels good. Joy, happiness. These are choices that
and
we
joy.
make.
There's a difference between joy and happiness.
Yes.
Right. And I don't know if people really understand that. But look
Break
into
it
the
down
difference.
for us.
Look, now I want them to look into it because I want y'all to go do your homework.
Yes. Okay.
Look into identifying what joy actually is, and identifying what happiness actually is, because there is a big difference between the two. And I saw that to say I realized that I lacked joy. And when it was mentioned to me before, that's when I had to go do my research and identify what joy actually is and how it resonates and shows up in the body. And so I highly recommend looking into joy, because y'all do y'all homework too. We teaching a lot of things, but go here and actually look up some things. So go and look into what joy actually is and what happiness is.
Happiness. Peace. Another thing that comes up for me so much is love. Like, again, I talked about that heart work. Love is a superpower, but a lot of these things have to be developed and cultivated within ourselves first. Like, yes, there are people that don't love themselves, and anybody can make. Quentin Grandma always say that people can make their mouth say anything. Like, yeah, you can say that you love yourself, but like, do you really love yourself? Are you really doing the work? The actions don't tell it. When you explore the depths of you, your mind, your heart, your body, I think you have so many people who just hold on to that shame, that guilt, that fear, and they let it define them, and they say, "Oh, I'm a shitty person," like you said, I'm not worthy of this, or I'm just, this is what I do. I used to be self-sabotaging.
Definitely self-sabotage. And one thing too, it's important to know that while we're on this topic, that you can wake up today and make the decision that you no longer want to be that thing. You no longer want to embrace this. You no longer want to be angry or bitter or sad or depressed or whatever.
It's a choice.
In that moment, that next moment, you can make a conscious decision. And for me, I had to make a conscious decision based on my traumatic experiences. And so when last episode we talked about transforming trauma and what that looked like. So for my traumatic experiences, I had to really identify who I wanted to be, what I no longer wanted to be or embrace or operate in, and find tools. And stillness really led me to that, because in stillness I was able to be real with myself. I was able to be like, no, Meek, that's not what's up. Actually, that's real raggedy. Girl,
and you can get that together. You can be that with yourself though. Like the thing that those dark parts of you, they can come up. But like you said, you could check yourself and be like, no, baby, we're not doing that.
Yeah, and matter of fact, that was not okay. So going forward, you need to make sure that you do things differently and operate from a different space. But it took me to be in stillness, honestly, to actually be able to get in the space of transforming them traumas and sitting with myself to, for one, see myself, check myself, acknowledge things about myself I no longer wanted to be, and to correct myself. And even when I get myself off track, I would reprimand myself. Okay, like I hold myself fully accountable, but it takes me to be into stillness for me to actually to see myself. And stillness has allowed me to explore my depths. And it has also allowed me to see how my negative thinking led to my negative actions, what led to negativity in my life. And so within me sitting in stillness, it also showed me that I needed to take time to focus on the things that I actually do want and desire, and not have those looping thoughts of the negativity. And I think that's a lot of things that keep us stagnant. So when you are in a space of stillness and you get that I'm not worthy, yes I am very worthy, you begin to retrain your mind from the negative things that you hear in stillness, and you begin to implement and sow those seeds that are counter to the things that you believe. And you have to actually be able to believe it and to see it and to manifest it. And you'll be surprised. And so I'm definitely not the Shamika I was yesterday, last week, years, or even years ago. And I don't even want to be necessarily the same version of myself tomorrow or a month from now based on where I am right now in my healing journey. And so, but right now I'm in a season of stillness and solitude. And it's tough.
I feel that.
It's tough.
It is. I know. I feel like my what do we say? What our past traumatic experiences what have we learned from them? Like, for me, I learned that it was okay to be, like I was talking about how I work with Rose. Like, I learned that it's okay to be soft. And I learned that it's okay to, like, take some of those parts of me, like those things that I kind of like grew up in, those experiences that I had, and let them be like a part of the foundation, but it's not fully the foundation, and that I can rewrite my story. Like you said, you can acknowledge what happened, but how do you change that, and how do you better that? So it's like, it's okay. And that's even going back to our affirmation when it says, I am safe to be still, and I am safe to listen. Like, I am safe to change. Like, I can change. And that's what growth is. And that's why you said it feels uncomfortable, because it's like we always resort to what's familiar. That is just we actually just do that unconsciously. And that's another part of awareness and mindfulness. Awareness and mindfulness allows us to pinpoint, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing them old patterns, them old thoughts, them old
people, those old things. How you get yourself back here? Girl, get out of there. When you start to see those cycles happening, them looping thoughts, those looping experiences, dang, I went through the same thing last time just with a different person. Or I remember when I had this kind of situation, it should get to the point to where you are so tapped in that you can discern the energy of things before you engage with them fully. You should be like, no, that's a familiar energy. I'm not going there again. No. I'm not doing that again. Whether it's in sisterhood, I've had so many raggedy sisters in friendship that when I see them coming out, oh, no, you can't get close to me, girl. Absolutely not. And it's just life experiences. So you get the lessons. So through my traumatic experiences, it has allowed me to create boundaries.
You got to create boundaries. Creating
your boundaries, it has allowed me to flow more freely. It has allowed me to forgive. Sitting, because when you're sitting in that stillness, you get to see that guilt, that pain, that shame, all the things that you're holding on to, and how it's manifesting in other areas. So stillness has been where I've been like, I got to let that go.
Yes,
that's not cool. I got to do this differently. I got to do that differently. And so stillness is really a mirror, I feel like.
Yes, it is.
Stillness is a mirror to those deep and oftentimes dark inner thoughts and ways that you don't get to see. But in stillness, don't forget to focus on the good things that are going on, the positive thoughts and the change. Because let's not just associate stillness with reflection, because when you oftentimes are doing things in life and there's a lot of chaos going on, sometimes that you just got to sit still so you can get clarity. So in stillness, you will get clarity, you will get peace, you will get joy, you will get all of those things in stillness. So stillness is not just for growing through something. It is also where you seek clarity. It is also where you take to pause. It is also where you refresh yourself. So stillness can add to you in so many different ways.
I agree. That's why I said I think that stillness is definitely like that connection to God. It's taking that time, because a lot of times when we feel imbalanced and we feel like uncentered, we don't feel tapped in. Like you said, it's just like we just feel like we just kind of like going through life and just handling or taking whatever is coming to us. But like you said, it has that clarity and that vision, like this is where I'm going next. And also I think when we sit in that stillness, you'll be surprised. I think that a lot of times we need to go into stillness with no expectations. A lot of times we go in there like, well, what am I supposed to be getting from
to happen. I want that to happen.
The answer to come right
and I want it in 3 days.
In 3 days, like, or while I'm sitting here, I want the answer to come. And honestly, that's why I said don't go in there with an expectation like that you're gonna find that answer, because you tried it one time, you tried to breathe one day, and you like, well, this didn't work. Like, you got to continue to, like I said, it's a practice. You continue to show up doing it, and then you'll start to find like, man, that question that that I asked, or that thing that came up for me, I'm starting to see it play out in my life, and I'm starting to see the messages come to me in different ways that I never even expected.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's just like, just no expectations to it. Just be open and surrender to the process of being still and what's going to come up for you. I feel like, we are human beings. Like, creation, we are a part of a bigger creation. Like, I didn't create the earth. I don't know a human being that can create the earth and a lot of the natural beauties in it. Like, how we gonna play? We cannot say that there's a divine intelligence of all life. Humans are not the only life force out here. We have plants as well. So there's something that is beyond our intelligence, but we are a part of it, right? So it's like, how do we tap into that creation? Like, we know that we are a part of it, but we don't want to be disconnected from that. We want to be connected in a way. So like stillness, I've even been looking into like early ways of Christianity, and they talked about very early that a lot of them did like monastic traditions. So they did like monasteries where they had like, they practiced silence, and they did like different prayers but together, but they were also in like these silent communities as well. And silence is a virtue. Like, I know we on this podcast here yapping and talking away, but like, really being quiet is how you receive a lot of the answers that you need, that clarity that you need.
Yeah.
It's there within.
Yeah. Like when you were referencing nature, I think about it like this. Like, I think that in nature, we have to be mindful not to take our distractions, our worldly ways, our greeds, our hustle culture and everything into nature. When I go in nature, I just be.
Yes.
When going in nature is equivalent to going in stillness. You go in.
It's quiet.
For
the most part, out here,
right.
yeah.
You go in quiet, but you just look to receive whatever it is that nature gives you. I don't go foraging with an intention. I go like, when I say that I don't go foraging for an intention, like, I go out in nature to just be. I may forage a thing. Oftentimes I'll say like, I'm just going out to collect community research, right? And I like to go out and be in nature. It's the same thing when you're going inward. You don't go in with those expectations, right? You don't go in with those things. You just allow it to be, right? And so yes, it's sometimes like going into stillness and fasting, to me oftentimes is not really the same thing. So sometimes people fast with intentions, which I get it, and things will manifest. But when you're going into stillness, I think that it's important for you to just be and allow the creation and the earth and the universe to just communicate with you in that way. And I think that some things that keep us from that is like distractions. Like, we don't get to go into stillness because we're so wrapped up in hustle culture. We are so distracted within the world and hanging with people and social media and what this person doing and that person. We know what more people are doing in their own lives than we know about our own lives and our own bodies. And so within that, I think that for me, even being a business owner, and I don't know, Taryn, if you can relate to this, of like having to step away from hustle culture at times, having to step away from social media and business to just be and honoring that. Not in the sense where I close my doors, but I do have the moments where I'd be like, I can't today.
No.
Yeah.
The capacity, I think it's like a matter of like knowing your capacity and then also refilling your capacity. Like, when you start to run out of capacity, okay, now I need to go and fill my cup. And I think like you said, as a business owner, stillness is important. As a mother, stillness is important. Again, as a human being, but I think we always speak to like being women because we are women in general. So I feel like, especially as women, we all have intuitions. We all have like natural inclinations that we feel. And it's like, in order to be deeply tapped into those, into our gifts, the gifts that we have, our spiritual gifts, like, that's cultivated in stillness. A lot of that true knowing. So I think like when you're sitting in stillness, is like you're not taking on the identity of someone else, like we talk about with the grind culture and social media. And I think sometimes you might take on the identity of someone else. That's something that you've seen, like it could even be from a podcast, it could be from a book. Like I shared a post recently I made a post about books, and somebody was like, well, I feel like we could just interact, like books kind of like, I guess, like, manipulate our minds in a way. And I was like, I guess you can say that in a way. I said, I think it expands the mind. Yeah. I feel like books help to expand the mind. Depends on what you're reading, but even sitting in stillness, like, it just helps to expand. It helps to expand your mind and to really feel. I think that life is a mystery. We don't know everything whatsoever. We'll never know everything. But again, that's why, like, just being and feeling and in it is like, in a way, like you're a part of everything. It'd be hard to explain sometimes. I feel like there are really not even a lot of words to explain it. It's really just like sitting,
gotta experience,
being, experience. Like to be is simple. We naturally do that when we were given life. So it's like, yes, we have life. It's just a matter of like not taking it for granted. That's another thing I do when I sit in stillness. Even if you don't know what to say, think about what you're grateful for. That's how you experience
Gratitude.
joy and elevated emotions, is when you think about the good things in your life. When you think about and you express that gratitude, that's where expression comes from. Even if you don't know it, like I feel like prayer too, it doesn't always have to be a matter of like asking for things. You're going forth and you're saying the things that you're grateful for. If you desire something, put your desires out there. Put that out there. If you have fears or something, put that out there and examine your fears. So sitting in stillness is also like just being, but then there's also like just being in a sacred space to you and doing what feels good to you, just without having like sound all the time. Sound therapy is good, but I feel like silence is truly like that connection. That is where you could really really hear. And my mentor, she taught us that it was like, don't be afraid to sit in silence. She goes to, there's a silent retreat where you could go to a silent retreat, which we should look into. I think
that might be a good thing for us to do.
It is a good thing. It is a good thing. And I think, like, again, don't go in there with no expectations. Some different things can come up for you, but really just like being quiet. I had to realize that because I talk a lot. So I had to realize, I'm like, if I really like, if I just take that time to be quiet sometime, like, I can learn so much, and I can learn to listen. That's another thing about sitting in stillness. That's how you learn to listen. I think that was another thing that I personally struggled with for myself. Personally, it was that I was not always like listening, and I think I was having a hard time of just like actually just like sitting still, listening, and then also applying like what came from me. So that's why I said, even when I was going through it that day and I turned to my left and I see the self-heal just sitting right there, but like really paying attention to like messages like that are coming up for me, like this herb is here to help you, and then you're also here to help heal yourself. Because again, healing feels heavy, and it can feel so heavy and so scary that you'll look around for somebody to help you. Who's gonna help me? Who's gonna help guide me? And there's been so many times that I've been in situations where I didn't know what to do next, and then I'm always looking for somebody to help me. And yes, like, you can look to other people for that guidance, but I feel like our ultimate help comes from God. Our ultimate help, and that's why I say sit yourself down and talk to God. God is the creator of all things and knows all things.
Absolutely.
We don't know everything.
That's
no
right.
human being knows all the things, so why wouldn't you tap into the divine that knows all things, that's aware of it all?
That's real. And I think too, like, we as women are, because I think about it, where women were traditionally compared to now, right? They're doing so much. And I wonder if we're using that as a form of escapism. Like, we're hyper productive, we're avoiding our emotions, we're becoming tough, right? We're just, oh, I don't care, all these things. And it's like it's a defense mechanism. It's like a wall that we're putting up because it's naturally not in us. But I think that's what a lot of what I am seeing. Oh, women are having like full days of doing all of the things, everything to avoid just being.
Yes.
And I get it. Like, we have to live and we got to be present. But like, when are you just being? Every moment of our day for most women I know is over consumed with something. It is just like, girl, sit down. Tuck some of them bags off. Just sit down. You making my nerves bad. I said that to somebody last night. You have paced the floor since you walked in the door. Can you sit down? Just sit and be.
Sit and be.
And so, yeah, I do think that
system.
we do that. Yeah.
We do, and that's one of the things that's going to help you to calm your nervous system. Like you said, it leads to hyper avoidance. I just recently watched this movie. I heard everybody talking about it, but it was called K-Pop Demon Hunters. And I started watching it. It's like a anime or animation type of movie. But that was the overarching theme. Like, it was crazy because it was a girl group, and they were fighting these demons, right? And there was like this boy group that came out that were really demons. But the girl she wouldn't take a rest. Like, there was a group of all three of them, and they wanted to, but like the person who was like, I guess she was like the main personality in the group, she wouldn't take a rest. She just was moving on to the next thing, on to the next thing. And she was the best in the world. She was the best at what she did, but she also was hiding demons and didn't want to face that.
And
felt empty. Didn't want to face that, and hurting the people around her, allowing those people to, those people had to endure like her not knowing herself, not trusting herself, not loving herself, not respecting herself. Like, all of these things are so important for us to do because, and like we say, as women, they say you being a pebble in the pond and the ripples that you're doing, like, how you treat yourself is also just displaying out to the people around you.
The world gonna treat you just how you treat yourself.
They're gonna treat you that same way. As women, we are nurturers, so our children feel when we're not taking care of ourselves. They feel when we're angry, when our nervous systems aren't chilling. As business owners, it's reflected in our products. It's reflected in our customers and how people, like, you think about like some people who have businesses and their customers be mad at them. Their customers be mad at them. I listened to a story about a girl who was talking about her business closing, and she was like, yeah, I just felt like I just always had to be on the go. I had my babies, and I had just finished having my baby, and I was over here getting dressed, and I had to get ready for a photo shoot, and I had to do this, and I was like you said, rest. Sit down and have a seat. Sit down and have a seat. Because you're going to burn out. Take your time. You're going to crash out.
That's something that I read. Definitely gonna crash.
You gonna crash out,
and you better hope you are able to come back from it.
Oh my God.
I had a point of that in business where I was just like, listen. It was probably about 6 months. I didn't teach any classes. I didn't do anything. I was just being. I was tired. I was tired of giving so much of myself just to the world, and I had to fill my cup. And even within that, like, I'm learning to take my time, and I'm learning to be transparent. I can't show up. I can't.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
It's a boundary.
I am tired. I have other things that I have to do. And so another thing I want to talk about when it comes to stillness is that aspect of like loneliness. I think that is where, or feeling lonely, like, are you really in solitude or are you lonely? And so I feel like for me, that loneliness, and we're going to take it back to the traumatic experiences, will remind me of the neglect that I felt from my parents. So I had associated me being in stillness with loneliness or like not having anyone there, and it goes back to my childhood. And so realizing that I was neglected and realizing that my parents didn't show up for me in that capacity, so I struggled with being in stillness. Because it took me back to an unfamiliar place. But I had to realize that it wasn't loneliness, and I was more so in solitude, and that I was safe. And when we learned that it is okay to be in solitude, and it is okay to at times feel lonely, because lonely is that feeling, but you don't have to act out of it, because you have to be mindful of what you're feeling and what you're acting out of, because when you're going out operating from a space of loneliness, you're going to be attracting certain things and certain people. So when you are in stillness and emotions start to come up, you don't act out of those emotions. You really sit with them, you process them, identify what they are telling you, and then you learn to feel it with more healthier things. And I think that's what's extremely important when in stillness, because you'll feel lonely. You'll feel like, this is overwhelming, I can't do it. I'm going to revert back to what is familiar. And it's going to just delay your healing process. It's not worth it.
What came up for me when I heard you say that was like just learning to enjoy your own company. And really not, and understanding that you aren't alone. I feel like, and I don't know if this might be taboo or woo-woo for a lot of people, but I truly feel that like we have spiritual guides in this world. Like I really feel like we have spiritual guides, and some people might feel like, their ancestors are still around them. I feel like we can't forget like ancestral wisdom and the wisdom that flows through our blood. Like when you talked about self-heal being able to help with mutated DNA, like our DNA is the same DNA that a lot of generations before us came and still they have that same DNA. So it's like we're not just dealing, our DNA does not just, is not just exclusive to us. Of course, it is exclusive to us as far as like the traits and all, but our moms have that same DNA, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers. Like, we aren't ever alone. We are these people in some different way, in some different version of ourselves. And of course, then that's a part of that healing, like healing what they went through, but knowing that like that is our protection, that is our spiritual core, like our people that were here before us. And this is up to whatever a person might believe, but we all know that like energy does not die.
It just transfers.
It just transfers. So we aren't ever like lonely. And then also, again, like I mentioned, just talking about the divine and just talking about God. Like, that's why even in that song, I say, sit yourself down and talk to God. Like, you are not alone. Like, you are a part of something that's bigger. Now, you do got to focus on your individual and what you got going on, but you are a part of something that's bigger. And that's how do you work on your relationship with yourself? How do you feel safe and comfortable with yourself? How do you challenge yourself? Set the tone.
Sets the tone.
Set the tone.
Your relationship with yourself sets the tone.
It does
for every other relationship in life.
Yes, when you keep saying, why do I attract this? Because that's what you're doing to yourself.
Yep.
That's what you're accepting and giving to yourself. You're being toxic to yourself. And that's what you're getting.
Not even attraction of things oftentimes too that you see in other people that make you feel a way. It's oftentimes a nudge to be like, why you feel like that about that thing? So that's also important. And then like when in stillness, things like understanding things that you could do. So for me, I journal in stillness. I like to write release or burn letters. I like to read. Sometimes I just like to rest. I will lay there. I allow myself to daydream. That's something that I really enjoy, especially when I rise in the morning. Like, I will get up and literally daydream in stillness. And so within being in stillness, there are so many things that you can actually do in that time. You can pray. You can meditate. I mean, what are some things you do?
I like to do yoga. I always do movements into my body. I feel like even just something that's always been healing for me is my mat, like truly my yoga mat, because I go sit on my mat and that's my space. So when I go and sit on my mat, I start to feel in my body and I do a body scan, like what is feeling tense? Like, are my shoulders feeling tense? Is my head feeling tense? If my neck is feeling tense? And most of the time when you wake up in the morning, there is tension like that you're just holding on to in your body, or your body feeling sore from something. So just taking those times to do slow movements. That's why I said I love, in yoga for me, I like to do a lot of gentle movements. I'm rolling my neck, just working out a lot of the tension.
I like those
swaying.
poses that allows me.
I move my hips. Breathing is just so, like I said, breathing and breath work. And I feel like for a long time I was like, well, breath work has to look like this or what have you. Like, breath is as simple as what we did in the beginning of this podcast when we took 3 simple breaths. Take 1 cleansing breath. Do regular breaths. I like to do box breath. I like to do Nadi Shodhana, where you block one nostril, inhale, and then hold the nostril, exhale. That also helps to bring balance in the way that you're breathing. I also like to do a lot of the same things that you said, reading. I like to set up altars. I set up personal altars to myself, just with things that have like good sayings. I have like a saying on there that everything happens in the right time, and namaste, and I put my incense on there. So it's just different things that align for a person. Those are just those things that I like, and it looks different sometimes. Sometimes I'm not always doing yoga, but I feel like moving my body and like just being aware of my physical, and then also just speaking to my spiritual, and then just helping my mental, like all 3 of those things, like it's a triangle, and just strengthening up those various aspects in your life. Because it could be one thing like when you're sitting in stillness, and then when you go out and you go into traffic, your child is yelling, somebody calling you with a problem, bringing you an issue. It's like, then you can approach those things much better. Your nervous system is just in a better place, and then you also know where you can resort if you ever need be.
And I think so too. In stillness, one thing that you can do is to listen to the body.
Yep.
When you're able to be in stillness and truly reflect and identify, the body is always communicating. So even when someone comes to me with a disease, my question is typically like, well, how long have you ignored this? The body is going to talk to you. It's going to show all of the signs. The more you are connected and with yourself, the better you're able to hear. And so within stillness, I really enjoy listening to my body. What is it telling me? I remember through stillness, I had my first conversation with my womb. And man, I had to ask her for forgiveness. But it took me to be into stillness and when I placed my hand over my wound and just to see the anger, the sadness, the despair that was held in that area, it led me to then have a conversation, but it took me to be in stillness to get that. And so in stillness, there's just so much that you can do and so much that you can get from it.
Yeah, it's an exploration. That's why I always say, like, healing is not linear. It's not this straight and narrow path that you take. Of course, there are obstacles that are given to you. And you even spoke when you were talking about, like, putting your hands on your womb and putting your hands on your heart. Like, that's something that I love to do. And another thing that I love to do, and I always ask other people, is like, when is the last time you gave yourself a hug? I will sit, and when you really, like, listen to your body, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. When you sit and listen to your body, there's been so many times that I've been sitting, and when you listen, I love my movements when I listen to my body. So I just take my hands out sometimes, and it's just like, and also doing this here is like a heart opener. It surrenders as well. So opening the heart, and then you bring your arms in and just hold yourself. And you take your breaths, and you can rock, sway, cry, bring your chin into your chest, and just give yourself, because I know I talked about in that last one how I didn't get those hugs when I needed those hugs sometimes, and that affection. But I'm able to give that to myself, and nobody's in my room. I don't look crazy. You know,
and even if I did, I'm filling my cup. You might need to do it too.
Loving on myself, like you said, writing. You write release letters. I write love letters to myself. I realized that I was just practicing so many, like, different things to, like, love on me. So because I'm always thinking about, like, how am I giving love to other people, and then I always was critical of, like, the ways that I was showing up and the ways that I was loving, but it was like being soft with myself. And so that's why even being that safe place, like, what are things that feel safe to you? If a hug feels good to you, like, give yourself a hug. Like, it's okay to be in relationship with yourself. You need to be in relationship with yourself so that you are better in relationships with other people and better in navigating and showing up in community.
In relationship with yourself. And I want to challenge y'all to do something. What Taryn says, that I want to challenge you all to write a love letter to yourself. Yes. I challenge you all to do that, and comment below and let us know what showed up for you within that love letter. You don't have to go in depth, but just how did it make you feel? Because I think that it's important. Like, one thing that you always talk about is romanticizing your life and doing all the things, and it goes back again to you set the tone for how the world will treat you. Right. And it's also, this conversation is also a reminder that I'm exactly where I need to be in this moment. And I want to stay in this place until I'm ready to come out of it. And with staying in this place, knowing that, like, it is okay to feel discomfort in stillness. It is okay to feel that. It is okay to be in that. It is okay to release the idea of control. It is okay to just be on that journey and in that journey and stay there as long as you need to. You don't have to put a day or a time on it. Be in stillness for however long you need to, and for however long it takes for your spirit to tell you, all right, yes, we're ready for what's next.
We're ready for what's next. And that's why I said that's how you strengthen up your spirit and guard yourself for what's going on out there in the world, because the world is going to try you. So you just strengthen up yourself. And like she was talking about, challenging yourself to write a love letter. Do this around whenever you feel down and out. Write yourself a love letter. Even when you're feeling good about yourself, write yourself a love letter. On your birthday, write yourself a love letter. Just those different things. I think that's just, and then you can always go back and look at that later and see where you were and see where you've come along in that way. So, yes. I like this affirmation right here.
Yes. Okay, before we get this affirmation. Okay, so one thing with stillness is about taking that pause. And so one thing that we do have written down here is, what truth is waiting for you in the pause? What truth is waiting for you in the pause? That's definitely something to sit with and reflect on.
Yes, indeed. All right, guys. Well, Yes, stillness is a return unto self, and we need that every day. Always find ways to center yourself. Put yourself around people that help you to center yourself and remind you that it's okay to be with yourself.
Do more of what you love.
Do more of what you love and experience elevated emotions every day. You have the choice to do so. So just, be powerful, women. Like, we are powerful. Be powerful, men, if men are listening. But definitely to our girlies, to the women, be powerful and realize your strength. Strength is not something that's just given to you. It's something that's a muscle that you have to work on. Like, your heart is a muscle that you got to work on. Your mind is a muscle that you got to work on. Your spirit, you got to work on strengthening that. So those are all very important parts of you. Again, guys, put down in the comments, if you write a love letter, or some of the practices that you do for yourself, and some of the things that come up for you in stillness and the transformation and the growth. Yes, communicate with us down in the comments. We want to hear you guys' thoughts. And also feel free to check out our clips on Instagram. We're on YouTube. And then we're also, I think,
TikTok,
everything. TikTok as
all
well.
Other things. Definitely tap in with us. We thank you all for the support and growing with us for sure. That is a wrap on episode 6.
Episode 6.
A wrap on episode 6. Like, as Terrence said, remember your power. Operate in that. It is for you to define and not the world. And I just want to remind you all of that. So with that being said, we will check out of here with revisiting our affirmation and closing out.
Yes.
So we're going to leave y'all always with an affirmation. So our affirmation for this week is, I am safe to be still. I am safe to listen. Until next time. Peace.